Hi guys, welcome back to another episode. In this episode I want to show you what my IVs are. I've come to the second Wednesday of the treatment, so that's about 11 days in, 12 days in, meaning I'm going to be finishing my IVs on Friday, and I've not actually shown you what it involves in doing and exactly what IVs I'm on. So as you can see, I've set my tray up for the afternoon session. There's 3 sessions a day, one morning, afternoon and night. 2 different types of drugs I'm on. I'm on the meropenem push IV, which only takes 5 minutes to push but takes a little longer to draw up. And the tobramycin bubble, which is a stronger drug than the nebulized solution, which I usually take on a daily basis. So this is the main one, I think, particularly. This one takes over an hour to go through. As you can see, it's a full bubble, and as the hour goes by, it will slowly shrink down to just a core base as the solution gets pushed through. I've got my flushes in between IV, my water to mix with my meropenem, 2 sets of syringes, 2 needles, and alcohol wipes to obviously disinfect the line that is going into, and the heparin sodium flush at the end just to avoid any blood clots. So in the blood, in the veins. So let's start off with the meropenem. Normally in the morning and the night dosage I have tobramycin. Tobramycin is just once a day. Meropenem is 3 times a day. So when it comes to the morning dose and night dose, you can get rid of the tobramycin and an extra flush, as we don't need as many. I will go through it in more detail as I'm making them up. So just like I say, morning and night, just to push solution of the meropenem, and the afternoon dose includes the tobramycin bubble. So to start off with, I've washed my hands with obviously soap to make sure I'm infection free, and let's get cracking, shall we? So open each item up, try not to touch the tips of the syringes and needles, especially the needles. Obviously you don't want to prick yourself, so anything I touch kind of stays to a minimum, and try and keep it on the tray as much as possible. I give the tray a wipe over before I put the items on with a special alcohol disinfectant wipes that I get provided with the rest of the medication at the start of the IVs. These scissors I also got provided with, so there's no harm in using your own kitchen scissors and getting the certain infections you don't want. But so yeah, first thing I will do is draw up the water from each of the bottles, and this goes into the big syringe. Now the bigger the syringe I found, the harder it is to draw things up, so please excuse me. So you can draw the full 40 mils, there's 2 20ml bottles. You can either draw the full 40 in the syringe straight away, or you can pop 20 in at a time. What I didn't mention I need to do, I'll just pop the top back on. Before I touch a needle with the top of either of these bottles, I just need to make sure they are clean. So I'll get one of the alcohol wipes and just give each one a scrub over. This is something new that they showed me at the start of IVs, so I must have done some research and found it's definitely useful to do that. Just give it a couple of seconds to dry. Take the needle top back off, get one of the bottles and put the 20ml water solution into it. Now it can be hard to push in because you are pushing into a tight air-trapped bottle, so I'd never can get the full 20 in one go. Sometimes just have to pull back and try again. Just give it a shake, so then let the powder dissolve in the water. Draw up the other 20 mils. It's got some air bubbles out there, but doesn't really matter at this stage because we're only just putting the water into the bottles, so there's also always going to be some trapped air inside. One last push. Give it a shake, and now while I let them dissolve, I will draw up the other solutions into the other syringe to get them out of the way because they're no longer needed. So these three solutions are what's to be called flushes and sodium chloride. So what we use these for is beginning of the drug, just to flush out the vein to make sure it's clean. In between each drug, so obviously they don't cross over, and then at the end of each IV drug, just again to make sure it's flushed through cleanly. In the morning and night dose, like I said earlier, I don't need all three because there's only one drug being used, so I just need the two solutions. So all three of these are just 10 millilitres, drawn up to 30 in total. Just make some more space. So definitely make sure there's no air bubbles inside because that can be very dangerous to a vein. It could actually kill a person if you do put too much air into someone's vein. I think I heard it being 20 mils of air would instantly kill someone, so the less air bubbles the better. So drawing this back up, what I will do, the best technique I use, instead of trying to pull it all out, is to get a bit of air in the syringe. I usually do about 25 mils. Put it through, and then push the air back up into the solution. And then what that will do is the power will force it back out into the syringe. And also kind of mixing the solution at the same time. So the more air you push in, the more powerful force to get back. And then as it slowly gets to the bottom, you can start to pull it through yourself. And then same again with the other one, so pull back some air. Put the needle through, push the air back into the solution, and then just watch it flow through. So in total there should be 40 mils of meropenem in the syringe. and maybe a little bit more, which isn't a bad thing, depending on how much water was put through into the bottles. So just over 40 mils, which is fine. There's no significant air bubbles in there that will cause a problem. Pop the needle back on, and that is drawn up ready to use. So now what I need to do is pull back my sleeve just so I can get a hold of my long line. And then I can start pushing through the meropenem before I attach the topomycin drug. So first off, I will get alcohol white. Give the end of the smart site a wash, just so it's clean, because obviously it's been over 12 hours since I last used it. Just give it a couple of seconds to dry. Take the top off, needle off, make sure there's no significant bubbles that will cause any damage. Make sure the solution is right to the end of the syringe so there's no more air going through. Pop it on, unclamp the line, and then push through 10 mils of flush. Don't feel anything going through the line, just a bit of coldness, depending on if the solution has been in a steadily warm room or fridge. Doesn't make a difference. There's 10 mils. What I will do is pop this needle back on because it's not going. I do that just because I don't like to think that anything's going to be getting to it in any way, shape or form. So same again with meropenem. Make sure there's no bubbles. Pop the solution right to the end of the syringe, and then pop it on, and then push this through over about 5 minutes. So I'll give my time myself. And you just want to do that because obviously it is a drug at the end of the day, and it's going to vein, so you don't want to cause any discomfort to you. People react in different ways. The longer you push it through, the better, I guess. But just give it 5 minutes is what I've been told minimum. So I'll push it through. Right, there we go. That's all the meropenem through. I don't push the solution right to the end, just in case there's any little air bubbles that want to get through. Take that off. I will use a new alcohol wipe because I tend to find that they dry up after a certain amount of time, because obviously 5 minutes outside of its package will do that. So I'll get a new one out. I've got plenty of them anyway to use, so it's not like I'm gonna. Good job it landed on the tray there. So I've got enough to use, so it's not going to do any harm. Give it another good clean, make sure there's no excess meropenem on the top. Get some more flush. This will be another 10 mils, just to push through any of the meropenem that's still in the line. And like I say, the morning and the night one, this would be the last flush because there wouldn't be any more drugs to do. I would only have 20 mils in the syringe to start off with, so 10 mils before, 10 mils after, just to clear the line. But because we're putting another drug on straight away, we just have to have an extra 10 mils in the syringe just to make sure there's no excess drug in the land before we attach the new one, so we don't want it obviously to mix as it's going in, because I don't know what that will do, to be honest, but I don't want to find out. So push another 10 mils through. And then once that's done, pop the needle back on. Like I say, I just like to make sure there's nothing, especially with this going to be laying around for an hour. I'd rather not risk anything getting to it. So give it another wipe. I can use the same wipe because it's only just been opened. So now with the tobramycin, take the little wrapper off. So what I will do is unclamp it, so then it starts to go through. Nothing will get out because it's still got its cap on the end, but then the good thing is that when I take the cap off, it'll start pushing through the solution, and then that means there won't be any air getting out because it's all being pushed through already. This little circular bit on it will keep any air in that area, because you can't guarantee that there's no air going to get through this first part at least anyway, so that bit will hold the air and then just let the solution come through on its own. So this will be given over an hour. It is now 3 o'clock, so I will be back in 1 hour to show you what it's like to finish off my drugs. See you then. Okay guys, so it's been an hour now, and my Toby has gone through. So as you can see, it's not longer a bubble anymore. It's shrunken down to this core-like looking piece of thing. So yeah, so now I will clamp this one off. I've re-washed my hands because obviously I've been an hour, and you know, you can carry on as normal whilst you're waiting for the Toby to go through. So I've given them a quick wash, and all I need to do now, because as you can see my tray is pretty empty, it's just got a couple of syringes left, so I'll quickly give this a wipe over. Take the first flush, take the needle off. Once again, make sure there's no bubbles. Right to the end, pop it on, and push through the last 10 mils. Slowly but surely. And then the last one, give it another quick wipe, is the heparin's flush. And as I said earlier, that will just make sure no blood clots are developed in the vein. Little bubble there, let's get it on my nose, get rid of that. And the weird thing about this flush is that I can actually sometimes taste it in the back of my mouth, if that makes sense. I don't know why it's any different from the others, but it is. Just have a weird, like, tasty feeling in the back of my throat, but it doesn't make me feel sick or anything. If I'm ever asleep when someone's doing it, or half asleep, I can always tell when that's going through. So I always know when it's come to the end of the drugs. So that's the afternoon session done. Just clamp that off, and I will tuck that back in my sleeve in a second or so. As you can see, I've put everything in the bag that I had at the start of the IVs with. Everything can go in that big yellow bin that you've seen on the previous videos. All but the 2 needles need to go into the smaller yellow bin, which was inside the big yellow bin, so I'll put them in there, and then I will wipe down this whole tray and get ready for tonight's drugs. Just a quick one, the reasons I'm on tobramycin and meropenem is it's because whatever your infection is sensitive to at the time of IVs. So most of the time I'm sensitive to tobramycin and meropenem. I have been sensitive to a few others, but then after a while you can become resistant to the drugs, so it's kind of a, you know, if you don't always have IVs straight away, if you can try and get away with some oral antibiotics just to see if they work, and most of the time they do work for me, but precaution reasons, just this time I'm on IVs. It's the first time in a year, so it's not going to do any harm. So yeah, so that is my IV process. So hope you learned a little something about it there. Looking forward to Friday, and I will likely see you then. Thanks for watching.